What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Foregoing. As you guys can see, I did something pretty damn insane, and that is I A5'd my man Rugal. Now, I'm going to tell you straight up, guys, that you should only do this. One, obviously, if you have the means available to you, but two, if you love Rugal, because the truth is, this character, fully leveled up, he is a strong character, he is a good character, but the reason that I did it was one, because he's my favorite character, but also because this version of Rugal actually has a pretty cool core, at least I thought he did, and that's with his madness. And what this does is it actually increases all damage received by 40% for 15 seconds. But the problem with this thing is it resets tag cooldowns, which means that you can only use this thing every other rotation, whereas with the weekends on Leona, Iori, Duo Lon, like all these characters, Bison, you can do their weekend, the increase all damage received by 30 or 35% every single time, not to mention Kusanagi, every time you just tag them out, you get the increased damage received by 35% for 10 seconds. Whereas this here core only works every other time you do it. So you actually don't do near as much damage because of it. It's kind of sucks, guys. It really isn't the greatest. Don't get me wrong. I think it might be useful in some ways, but I really think being able to use your weekend every single time, every single rotation is a benefit. And honestly, I don't regret doing what I did. I mean, it did cost me 120 American dollars in order to do this, to A5 him, because you actually have to buy these packs right here. These are about 40 American dollars. I had to buy 3 of these packs to get enough of these tokens to be able to do it. And I did get some extra imprint stones. So my Rugal is jacked up, right? I mean, he is leveled up. He does have, quite the build on him right now. If you take a look at him, right, we have max capsules. We have, all these imprint stones, right? I got all of these because I was able to get the shards. Because once you A5 the character, they give you a whole bunch of free shards. So that allowed me to get these imprint stones. And he is a good character, guys. And, with this setup, he did do pretty well in Guild Raid, which I'll show you guys a live run here in a second. But I didn't level up any of his cores, so obviously if I leveled these up, he would be a little bit stronger. But in all honesty, guys, we get a lot of other characters, that can do just as good as he did at, A3, A2. So, yeah, that's kind of the thing, So, like Netmarble, what they did was they made this character really only acceptable for players that just love Rugal. That's just the truth of it. Now, don't get me wrong, he's a good character. He is, and he's definitely got his uses, as I'll show you guys in a little bit. And this is setup I'm going to be using, just like I did with God Rugal in the Guild Raid run, where I used Zhangfei, obviously, for the chill, and Shermie for the shock. And we're going to use the 3PG that we actually got from the boss showdown that actually gives a heal, and it's just badass to watch, right? So let me go ahead and turn my controller on, because I don't think I even have this thing on. Nope. That would have been embarrassing, jump into Guild Raid and don't have the controller turned on. But I'll show you guys what he can do, and then I'll show you a little something special afterwards, where I think, having that character at A5 is actually really, really good. We're going to go ahead and use this leadership, because the leadership is just, this is another thing about him, but you don't need to have him at A5 in order for this leadership to be relevant, right? Increased defense type fighter attack by 85% defense. That's nuts. That is a really, really insane leadership. And also remember, with the score that I'm getting, I got an A6 God Rugal striker, adding a tremendous amount of CP, right? All right, so unfortunately, the time that I was recording this video, we actually have a reset, whereas where you guys can see the guild raid isn't available. So I'm just going to show you guys a run that I did with this version of Rugal in Guild Raid. I'll pull it up for you guys right now. You check it out. All right. To watch it. Now, you guys are probably going to hear, some guys in the background. You're probably going to hear me in the background, chit-chatting a little bit. Unfortunately, when I recorded this, it's going to have our voice recordings in there.
A lot faster right now.
So, yeah. But there you go. And, he breaks that meter super, super fast, guys. Like, crazy, crazy. Again, guys, I recorded this from Discord, so you're going to hear some background voices in here. But look at him go, man. Look at him go. Look at that. He just melts that meter so fast, using the Rugal set along with the Zhangfei card and the Shermie option card. But again, this is a character that's, you know, $120 investment, right? $120 investment. I mean, that's a lot of damn scrowl, right? That's a lot of damn scrowl. It's just, it's a good amount of money for, you know, what we're getting here, which isn't as much as what we'd really like. Now, I'm just going to go like to halfway mark and show you guys what he does in the, you know, halfway through guild raid. And this is a complete solo. This is just all him on his own, right? That's it. So, I mean, but it's pretty damn good, right? All right, no reset. There we go. But I mean, he just breaks that meter so fast. I mean, 2 billion right now, guys. 2 billion. Not too shabby, right? Well, you know, we'll keep it going a little bit longer, right? There we go. 2.5 billion. So he could probably score 5 billion, maybe a little bit more than that with this max build, which is a good score, right? I mean, you only need 1.25 billion in here. But for considering that you have to spend $120, I mean, you have to get this character to A5. It's not really a score that you would be like, well, you know, $120, is it really worth it? I mean, no, I don't think it really is worth it, to be perfectly honest, if you're looking at it from that perspective, right? But if you're looking at it from, I'm a Rugal fan, right? Or whatever character it may be that I'm talking about, then it's a different story, right? Like me, Rugal's my favorite character. So yeah, it was worth it for me to take him to A5. And the score is really good, but it's not as good as what we'd really like to see. And I really was hoping for a little bit more than that, but still not too bad. Now, let me show you where Rugal is actually pretty relevant. And let me show you something else that's pretty insane. So I've talked about how Dual Lon's really gotten the shaft, how this character just isn't as good as he should be, because I've actually compared him to Kusanagi. And Kusanagi is actually a much better sport, much easier to use than this guy. And I actually have practiced and done tons of other runs with Dual Lon. Don't get me wrong, Dual Lon's still a really good support. He can still be used, but I just get more damage out of using Kusanagi. Even with Dual Lon at A5, that has his increased all damage received by 35%, right? Even with that, even with his leadership for the Temporal Mystery Fighters, Kusanagi just seemed to be a better leadership or better support at A1. However, Dual Lon is actually really insane against the Tower of Trials. That's right, I'm at level 90 now. I actually did stage 85, and the reason I was able to do it is, yes, I do have an A5 God Rugal, but the reason I was able to do it was because of Dual Lon and the other Rugal that I have, right? Because of their survivability, right? Now, I'll start off this fight, and I'll use Rugal here. By the way, Rugal here has got the the banner set on him, along with the Zhang Fei card and the Orochi option card. Right? I mean, you can see those long cooldowns, but I mean, yeah. And yeah, obviously, God Rugal is the character I'm using for all my damage. But something you have to remember about God Rugal is his heal and his core only applies, like it's on a 30-second cooldown. So if that thing enacts, you have to wait 30 seconds before you can get it again. And Ignatz here will devastate Rugal when he's petrified. I mean, he'll destroy him, guys. The damage this guy does is dumb. Look at that. Look at that damage. Right? So now I have to be very, very careful, right? Oh, get him. Right? By the way, guys, I also recorded this on Discord, so you're going to hear some background noise from other players. But I got this 3PG on the other version of Rugal so I can get a heal. He does have a heal in his kit whenever he's attacked, right? Whenever he gets attacked at a certain amount of HP. But once he gets down to a certain threshold in his HP, he's just going to have a decreased damage received. So we need that heal to help things out. Now watch Dual Lon and watch how much damage this guy takes. This is pretty wild, right? And really kind of, in a way, kind of future-proofs him, because without this character, I mean, he really is the MVP for this, guys. I know some of you are thinking, what? Dual Lon's the MVP? Yeah, he is, because look at the damage he takes. He doesn't take any damage at all, and what he's doing is he's allowing me to let God Rugal's passive or his core reenact, right? He's allowing me to stretch out that 30-second cooldown to where when I bring in God Rugal again, I will have that heal, right? You see a little bug or something here with the slow-mo, and there's that heal, right? If I was just trying to do a solo with Rugal, he would just freaking die. He would just die, guys. He would. Like, that 30-second cooldown is way too long. So, I mean, obviously, if it wasn't as long, it'd be pretty ridiculous, right? But you can pretty much expect it in the future. We'll probably get characters that have an even more ridiculous heal. But with Dual Long, because of his decreased damage received by 99%, I can stretch out the time. I can stall the time. And the fact that his 3PG doesn't get interrupted, or he doesn't interrupt like guild raid, doesn't matter in a game mode like this, right? It only really matters in guild raid. It doesn't matter in here, right? I mean, really, I could use Dual Long's like attacks. Really, I should have been using his default so I can get an increased attack to Rugal. That's something I'm not doing. That's what I should have been doing, right? But I'm using that nice big long animation that he has, and that's something else. He's got a long animation. So it's just allowing me, like, Dignus can't do nothing to me when I'm doing that 3PG from Dual Long, right? And it's just such a long animation that by the time I switch back to Rugal, his heal is ready to go again. I mean, but what begs the question is it worth it to have an A5 character for a game mode where it's a one and done reward? That's the problem. We can only play this one time, and once we get those 500 rubies, it's done. There is no repeat of this game mode, and that's the problem. Like, they gave us a character that honestly, he's like, Dual Long's insane for this, and I'm not even talking about the other version of Rugal, but he's actually really good for this as well. He is, especially if he has some healing strikers, right? Because if you were using the 3PG, the regular 3PG for the free version of Rugal, then you would also have a nice long animation that would actually help out, especially if you're using the banner set that increases your PG automatically, where you can just go and straight into your 3PGs. I mean, yeah. I mean, and I'm telling you guys, like, I tried doing solos with Rugal. No. I needed Dual Long. I needed him badly. And I'm not using his weekend because I just want to spam his skills. And look what he does. Like, look at the damage I take, guys. There we took a good amount. We took a good amount of damage, but we got a healing striker. And if I was using like 98 Athena that gives a 30% recovery heal, I mean, then Dual Long would never even die. He wouldn't die, guys. He wouldn't die because we'd be able to have that decreased damage received by 99% up almost all the time. I mean, he's really great for this. He's really great for this. By the way, I'm using Rugal's leadership because I just find the 50% attack and then 10% critical rate for a character like Rugal. I'm just doing better as far as damage. But yeah, and that's the thing that's what's disappointing about this is that I see this MVP potential of Dual Long. I see how good he is for something like this, right? The damage isn't great, but because of his survivability, it's allowing me to beat the hell out of Ignis with God Rugal or with whatever strong character that you're using. I mean, if you have a Jin and you got Dual Long's really going to help out big time, guys. He's going to help out a lot. You can always make sure that your immunity's up every single time for Jin.
Oh, shit.
Every single time. I mean, you see the damage isn't, I mean, it's nothing, guys. It's an A5 character, but his damage really isn't that great. And I'm using a comeback set on Dual Long, by the way. Obviously, he would do more damage if I was using the banner set, but I only have 2 of those banner sets, and they're both on Rugal. Right? And the way I have those Rugals built, they just do more damage anyways. So that's kind of why I have stuff like this. I mean, you can see that my Rugal is actually, like Omega Rugal, is actually doing more damage than Dual Long, but again, he is built better, to be fair, right? But he's actually stronger anyways than Dual Long as far as damage. I've seen this in Guild Raid, he's definitely stronger. And now we switch to Rugal, or I'm sorry, Dual Long. The flashing in my eyes kind of blinded me there for a second. That's the excuse, and I'm sticking with it. And then we can just do this big, long 3PT. We don't have to worry about nothing. We're doing some damage to old boy. I mean, honestly, this was easy. This was easy because of Dual Long. Like, I mean, even guys, like, even if he isn't A5, even if he isn't A5, he'll have that decreased damage received by 99%. He'll have that damn thing. And he will be able to help you big time in this game mode to try to gain more of these luscious rubies. It's a one-time deal, and that's what sucks. Like, if this was a repeat game mode, Dual Lon's relevance would be so much higher. Don't get me wrong, I know he's a good support, and I know he can help out your characters, guys. He can give an extra 100+% attack from his default to your characters. I mean, I've seen some pretty insane scores with like Jin and even Rugal, but it's just he just isn't as good as Kusanagi. That's kind of the thing, right? So he isn't the best support in the game. He's a good support, but not the best. But man, for the Tower Trials, this guy really is the MVP. And really, Omega here did really, really well in it. He's a really solid character, but really for $120 net marble for $120, you really should have done more for this character. You should have made it to where his passive, his madness from his core, actually resets every single time. That way you could use it every single time in every rotation that you do instead of every other rotation. Still a good character, but for $120, unless you're a hardcore fan of Rugal, I don't think so. And then, of course, God Rugal is a god. So, guys, let me know what you think about this video when I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GT+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See you, everybody.